Hey friends, how do you adapt? I used to post a ton of videos all the time, and I'm going to get back to that pretty soon. This year, for a lot of us, and for me especially, has been one of many, many surprises and many opportunities to adapt. So while I usually post mystical stuff and personal growth stuff and spiritual scientific stuff and interesting insights, this is along the themes of those, but really it's about personal responsibility. We can always think other people or other groups of people, whether it's the government or an organization or an authority figure, is responsible for doing something for us to feel a certain way. But if you think about yourself, if you think about your life, if you think about everything you've learned in all your years of exploring, all the stuff you've explored, spirituality, personal growth, manifestation, all those things, where are you in your own heart? Where are you in your own mind? Where are you in your own decisiveness? Something comes up that you didn't expect, affects you personally, spiritually, emotionally, economically. How will you adapt? It's so easy to blame. It's so easy to take the attribution of your situation and your emotions and place them on somebody else and say, oh, that person, that group, that organization, that government, that whatever, that angel, that devil is responsible for me feeling this way, is responsible for situation, for event, XYZ. And while you can always look at cause and effect, and you can also always ask, why? How you feel in your own inner being is completely up to you. I cannot stress that enough. How you feel in your own inner being is completely up to you. Now you could say, oh, well, I am not in control of my own inner being. Oh, well, my biochemistry is XYZ, my situation is ABC. And sure, those may be contributing factors to the biochemistry of your emotions. But as Dr. Joe Dispenza says, the neurons that fire together wire together. So are you thinking in ways that are aligned with you feeling how you wish to be? If you wish to be, hey, thanks brother, much love to you too. If you're thinking in ways that align you to be present, that align you to be loving, that align you to be optimistic, if you're thinking in ways that bring you to the present moment in a still peaceful clarity, then anything that you want in the external world, you can act on from a place of neutrality. Whether you come from the unity consciousness goal of everybody is one, everybody is a manifestation of you, of your greatest and highest self, reflected in the fractaline hall of mirrors of consciousness as an aspect of you living a simultaneous parallel past or future lifetime, or you look at the microbial cloud of pheromones, or the biofield energy, or auras, or the morphogenic field, whatever your language is, body language, mirror neurons, how you show up in this world does affect how others show up, does affect what others are willing to do, what others perceive as possible. And so it starts with you, right? You can communicate anything in any way, in any medium, with any intensity. But if you look deep within, if within your heart you feel presence, you feel love, you feel optimism, you feel here, you feel grateful, then any way you approach the outer world, any way you approach other beings, will carry that vibration. Even if there's tension, even if there's disagreement, even if you and somebody else want the same thing, even if there's a history of with that, of anger, of whatever, consider where you want to come from in this now. Consider if you want your future story, your present story, to be at all reference to your past story. To your past story, your past thoughts, your past neurons, your past emotions. Are they welcome? Are they desirable? Are they effective? Are they present in the reality you want to create, in the world you want to step into? Sure, you can think of this massive to-do list with how you are, with your body, with your living location, with your money, with your friends, with your family, with the government, with society as a whole, with health topics for society as a whole, with your rights, with any of those topics. But again, how you approach all of this stuff will change so much more for your inner being, which is really all that matters, right? My Sifu, when I was studying Kung Fu and Tai Chi and Shaolin and other lineages, said if he could teach one technique, that technique would be see others as souls. Not a punch, not a kick, not a throw, not a block, not a meditation. It would be see others as souls. And if this word has a positive connotation for you, see others as aspects of the divine. And even then, if there's conflict, even then, if there's disagreement, even for the people who you believe are in the most wrong, or who might be your old story believed were in the most wrong, if you see someone as a soul, if you see someone as a being that you gifted yourself to experience in this life, to grow from, to adapt from, to feel peaceful amongst those energies, to learn how to harmonize, adapt, and resonate with, that is an opportunity for self-mastery, for you. Sure, you could say it's an opportunity to claim something, to say something, to do something, to ask, to demand, to whatever. But if you see in the highest vibration everything in this world as a gift for you to master yourself, then the you that's the you 10 years from now, the you that's the you 15 years from now, the you that's the you tomorrow, next week, next month, will be grateful to you for growing up. I've had the great experience of waking up with all these mystical experiences and all these repeated mystical experiences and all these things that are so far out there that even the woo people go, wow. And I've done a lot. I'd say I've done my best to look at the Western science behind auras, behind energy healing, behind materialization, telekinesis, channeling, connection with non-physical consciousnesses, and I've seen so much research, and no, I don't feel I'm a walking dissertation yet from the level of mind to cite the 1,500 sources I've read since I was 12 about all this stuff. But I do know, as I believe you might know, there's a higher, more expanded version of reality than the level of 3D, the level of mind. 1,000 years ago, if you talked about radio waves, Wi-Fi, microwaves, X-rays, satellites, and all the stuff that's possible in our modern world, they'd say, oh, that's magic, that's BS, that's woo-woo, that doesn't exist, that's fantasy. But then over 1,000 years of technological development, that stuff is known. Even now, some of our most advanced physicists say 5% of our visible universe is measurable. So the 95% of dark matter, dark energy, the whole big bundle of quantum stuff with all these high-level quantum people saying the same and different things, that's yet to be discovered. At least that's yet to be discovered in the level of consensus where the Pentagon or the New York Times or the Wall Street Journal or people you meet along the street will be in collective consciousness agreement about. And you know what you've seen, what you read, what you learn, what you feel is true is part of your reality. And what I feel is part of reality, is part of truth, with the research that I've done, with the practices that I've done, is that if you hold a strong intention with love in your heart and positive, clear emotion and gratitude and expectation of what your intention, your vision, your desire, your dream for the world is as the now, that your consciousness is moving into a parallel reality, timeline, body that is experiencing that vision, dream, goal, manifestation, whatever it might be, as your truth, as your now, you'll experience more of that. Maybe only the mirror neurons in your mind, right? If you've seen that fMRI study of people imagining lifting their pinky and the muscles in their hand got stronger and the neural connections between their pinky and their motor cortex got stronger, and you take that to the athletic practice of visualization, and you take that a bit stronger to visualize weightlifting and experiences I've had and other people have had, where you lift weights in your mind and maybe with your body, and you feel this boost in strength and capacity in musculature. And you look for the science to back that up, not just the American English science, but the stuff around the world that you can find. You know what you visualize, or you will know what you visualize affects the material world. And if you've dived into law of attraction, if you've dived into the secret, if you've dived into the practical mysticism that's been taught for thousands of years, that's starting to be validated and not totally suppressed with all the quantum stuff out there, you'll know that if you hold surrender in your visions, what you wish for, what you intend is much more likely to come to be. Surrender means allowing the acceptance of whatever your reality is. Meaning if something comes at you and it's a surprise, it is something you don't want, it is something you don't desire, it is something your ego has trouble with, but your higher self can realize and remember or choose to accept that this is something you gave to yourself, you gifted to yourself at a higher level of being. And you can hold that with you throughout the day, not just in high meditation and trance. And to be honest, this has been a challenge for the ego that knows itself as David. But if you can hold that higher truth with you, even when you're surprised, even when you're triggered, even when you're angry, even when you don't get what you want, that's your key to adaptation. That's your key to leveraging, using effortlessly all these things that happen in your life, in your world, as things that support you. Things that support you staying in peace and love and harmony and joy and gratitude and all those emotions you care for, right? And what is gratitude beyond a word? I'm so grateful that we can connect through this digital medium. This is sincere gratitude, right? What is peace beyond a word? I feel fully at peace in this moment. And what is anger more than a word? There's a lot people can say gives them reason to feel anger, allows them to give away their power and feel anger. So what does anger feel like? Anger feels like I'm wronged by this person, by this situation, by this society, by what wasn't done for me, and I just feel this anger, right? And that emotional energy, that vibration, that fluency is yours to choose, to keep or to release. Is yours to recognize as a woke, grown-up adult. Does that energy, does that emotion, does that thought pattern serve you? If it does, great. But I would offer that unless you're in a healing container, unless you're in a container to own and release that emotional, energetic pattern, it might not serve you as you think. It might feel good if you're used to it, right? It might feel familiar. There is such a phenomenon as cortisol addiction. It might feel like good, like empowering, like, oh, anger is motivating. Look at the psychological theory. Anger is great. But what does anger do to your heart? What does anger do for your serotonin levels, which can significantly be argued affect your optimism, which can significantly be linked to what you feel is possible? And if you really want to adapt to these circumstances on a practical level and a spiritual level, just consider your life starting in this now. No matter what happened in any frame of time in the past, no matter what you think should have happened, no matter what people told you should have happened, no matter what you want to take the labels on for right and wrong and any fractaline representation of those, in this now, you are reborn. In this now, your ego is yours to choose to keep or to discard, to edit, to enhance, or to devolve. You want to be in an upward spiral. You want to have opportunities. You want to have shift. You want to have change. Who are you in this moment? What is your story in this moment? Right? I know my story in this moment is being present and allowing to flow what feels right and what feels natural to flow. I'm allowing what's present is to share something honest and sincere and not need all the hair, makeup, professional studio stuff, monetization strategies, all the things that go along with doing something professionally and just sharing on this beautiful, awesome, social media network, and the opportunity to connect and to offer and to share and be with in a digital fashion and in other fashions as well. So please, if you have other ideas, if you agree, if you disagree, if you want to have a dialogue, especially as this is being recorded with all the quarantine stuff happening, this is how we can interact. This is how we can interact with depth, not just with you and me, but with you and other people on this thread. So if this brought up anything in you, if you have any questions, any thoughts, any offerings you want to share, please comment. And comment isn't just, boosting my social media stuff. I'm grateful for that. We all, know and can find the causes and effects of that. But this is an opportunity to engage deeply in a topic that, if you care about, to own that you care about it and to be part of that conversation. To really take in the strengths, to really ask for support. If you feel you could use support and you're like, hey, David, can we plan a call? Could you please support me? Or to say, hey, David, I know a bit about you and your life. Can I offer you some support? Can I pay it forward? Can I plant the seed of karma? To not assume, whether it's for me or anybody in your life, what somebody's abilities are, what somebody's emotional states, what somebody's stories are. What somebody needs reminding of, what somebody should do, how somebody should feel. Start with your own inner being and reach out, or don't. And know that whoever you are and whatever state you are, I love you, I accept you, I see you, and I believe in you to be in and of your higher self. And when we're talking, whatever I'm coming from might be accurate to what you perceive me as coming from, and might not. So if you really care to communicate with someone, if you really care to get them, because if you really want them to get you, take some space, frame the container, and ask, are you coming from mind? Hey, thanks for the love, sending back. Are you coming from mind? Are you coming from ego? Are you coming from story, limitation, victimization? Are you coming from responsibility? Are you coming from soul? Are you coming from higher self? Are you in the highest and best, truest self that 10 years from now, and 10 years behind now, you'd be grateful for that self as you showed up as? Because I can honestly say, if you're coming from reactive emotion, and you think of how you came from reactive emotion in the past, did that really help you adapt? Or did that just cause more stuff? So thank you for your patience. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for your love and gratitude. And honestly, thank you for all your other vibrations. Because if those are vibrations that aren't things that you think I would call in, then I'm going to try to find a way to neutralize them, surrender, accept, or see them as strengthening. And if I forget, I forget. Because, welcome to humanity. All right. Thanks for tuning in. Really and sincerely, universally and unconditionally, I love you.